Floating orb to replace Morty in my heart.
Mandro.
I have one. I wanted two.
And we are live. We are live. Hello and welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Payback is a Lich, a very anti-hero-like campaign. I mean, few stories will feature such an spectacular cocktail of timeline shenanigans, multiversal backstabbing, cosmic bureaucracy. But here we are with the left-hand horrors again, a party of powerful liches that find themselves racing against Vecna and Kaz. To reassemble the Rod of Seven Parts before the Lich God Vecna reshapes reality in his own image. At the heart of this mess is a cosmic accident, an offhand wish from Vecna that unintentionally merged two overlapping timelines. Merged two timelines, sorry, in an overlapping timeline, and this didn't just swap out one party member, Necrolumpa, for Drazov. It also replaced every single character with a 10-minute lagged counterpart of themselves. Now, as they unravel the consequences of this, the left-hand horrors have realized that they are not the original versions of themselves. Their originals are still out there searching for the rod as well, just as they are. But turns out that there are two rods now, so that should make the task a little bit easier. Their latest revelation, Vecna is now the mother of dragons. The Lich God has replaced this so-called Tiamat, who nobody remembers the name, as Vecna continues his ambition to reshape of the multiverse, and he has made some good progress so far, and Tiamat has been completely overwritten in history in this overlapping timeline, this superimpose of two time streams. Well, Tiamat was replaced by Vecna, the one and only mother of dragon. If this wasn't his doing to deities, it's only a matter of time before all reality be bowing to Vecna or cease to exist altogether. We don't know what's going on in that mind. I mean, every day in the multiverse is kind of a gamble, you know. Many of you may know how that feels. I mean, you just wake up, you don't know what the guy who is up there planning reshaping the multiverse, what is he's going to come up with in his head, and just spat out, and suddenly one of the deities that you know, one of the settings that you know, they have been completely rewritten by Vecna. He might just fire a big setting of D&D altogether, just put it might happen. We never know. So after securing the party, the left-hand horrors, after securing 5 pieces of the rod, they were looking to trade the 2 useless pieces that the Kaz has, because he has a copy of them, and they are trying to get 2 fragments of the 2 copies of fragments the Kaz had in order to strengthen their position and potentially get their rod back. Within just 24 hours until their scheduled meeting with Kaz, the Liches turned their attention to the Sigil's mortuary, hoping that they would find another piece of the rod there that they could potentially trade. And that ended up so well. But before I tell you a little recap of what happened, let's meet our undead protagonists. Starting with and where is my ambient noise? Can you guys hear some songs there?
No.
All right. Okay, all right, finally.
Music.
Very well. Let's put some songs here. What was going on?
There we go.
Very well. Okay. Nothing like some horror music in the background to make things more fun. And all right. So, starting with, let's start with Drazov tonight. Drazov the Mad, perhaps? He's an experimental wizard with no moral compass. His idea of problem solving is usually causing a bigger problem or finding a way of using that problem as a way of experimenting and expanding his dark knowledge of all arcane things. Drazov, say hello to our audience and tell us a little bit about how you're feeling tonight. Oh yes, Drazov, you have a new title, right? The amazing bargainer, as you've managed to unmaze this party by cutting a bargain with the Lady of Pain in the last session. How are you feeling about that? Say hello to our audience.
Yes, I am as always Greth Warrell, the unacceptable. And yes, I have recently freed myself and my compatriots from the maze through sheer guile and skill. And I have also, now that I have recovered from being away from my phylactery for so long, I am feeling much better, although I am not pleased that we have missed our opportunity to strike this bargain that I was told was so very important, and it's now out of reach. Mixed feelings. It is a turbulent time. Anyway,
Very well.
that is all.
Thank you, Drazov. We also have Ciro tonight, who, as usual, both the player and the character are fashionably late. Ciro, the Herod of Undying Poetic Love, a chronergy wizard who has in one timeline devoted himself to the vestige of the evening glory, and it's now a herald of poetic, I should say, herald of undying love, where he is trying to resurrect his wife to show her that hey, he could look better, and and on another timeline we have the original Cyril, or should I say the original looking Cyril, who is still very much of a tragedy, and I guess Cyril on Valentine's Day streaming. No better, I think, no better character to represent the romantic tragedy of this day than an insufferable lich who's been trying to resurrect his dead wife so that they can both be evil liches together for all eternity. Aww. Isn't that nice? Cyril, can you say hello to our audience and tell us a little bit about how you're feeling tonight, knowing that you just dodged a bullet by accidentally missing the last session?
Hello. Well, like you said, I am always late, but I always arrive when I'm needed, and clearly I wasn't needed last week. Evident from me going to the maze, I have enough trauma there as a player, and I refuse to go back. So if I was there, regardless of the outcome, I would have quit. And then regarding how I'm feeling today, delightful. I mean, today is Valentine's Day, and as a hopeless romantic myself, it reminds me of the good times I had with my wife when we'd get up to all kinds of mischief. So a little bit sad tonight, but it's good because the memory of her continues with that.
Excellent. All right. And then we have Krieg, our Bard of the Dead, charismatic, dramatic, and entirely too attached to a floating head that he met just 15 minutes earlier, prone to some, I guess we could say, some reality warping meltdowns, as he can, you really don't want to mess with his friends. There's some really some deep trauma there with Krieg losing friends. I think, well, there is indeed. That's his whole MO. Krieg is trying to revenge he has a revenge against Vecna for destroying all his friends. That's a reason why he became a Lich, just so that he could chase Vecna for all eternity, with all his tunes about unlife and all the stories he's been learning on the way. He also been dubbed the architect of instant regret, thanks to his actions in the last session. Krieg, say hello to our audience. Tell us a little bit about how you're feeling tonight.
Hey guys, Spirit King Creek here. Even on Valentine's Day, I gotta be heartbroken. To be or not to be. Was it with Morty? I guess it wasn't to be. Sorry, I'm just still thinking about that little guy.
Well, you see, Krieg, that's why it's wise to have a copy of yourself, perhaps merging all the copies of yourself in one, with your propensity to having comets falling on your head. I feel like it's something perhaps you should reconsider. Maybe make a clone of yourself just in case. Last session, everybody. Naturally, with the characters going to the mortuary, everything went to hell almost immediately. The left-hand horrors infiltrated Sigil's mortuary, seeking a needle in a haystack, a hidden fragment of the rod of 7 parts, which rumors said there might be in there, buried somewhere among an infinite number of corpses and entrances and portals. And after slaughtering their way through the initial resistance, they cut a deal with their newest ally, a floating head named Morte, which was also a lying floating head with a questionable loyalty and a desperate need to escape the mortuary. Guided by Morte, the Liches advanced towards the path of grave inside Sigil's mortuary, a central hub in the mortuary that is filled with portals to various afterlives locations and cemeteries across the multiverse. To get there, however, they had to cross a suspended bridge, where they encountered a patrolling Death Knight. The Death Knight was very unimpressed by the intrusion and unleashed a hellfire orb on the party, and this instantly obliterated their guide, Morte, reducing Krieg's beloved floating head friend to nothingness. And Krieg, in a grief-fueled rage, pulled off his Scroll of Summoning Comet, a spell that creates a 500 radius crater.
Wait,
to
not 50?
500 and vaporizes everything in that radius with a massive comet. But the problem is he summoned that in Sigil, a city whose architecture is built inside of a giant torus. A city that goes all the way around in the best Inception way, inspiration I guess Inception got the inspiration from Sigil, not the other way around, because Sigil precedes Inception. And a city that is ruled by an overgod known as the Lady of Pain. And the Lady of Pain is not known for being merciful. Before the spell or the summoning could even complete, the lady herself personally intervened, negating the magical effect and immediately sending Krieg, Drazov, and Midge into an extra-dimensional maze for their blatant act of reckless destruction of our city, which is absolutely not allowed. Meanwhile, in the Lady's Maze, the 3 Liches found themselves trapped in this endless dark void, yet another of the infamous mazes created by the Lady of Pain. In fact, that's what happened to Tasha and Illustrio and Volkar in a different session when you guys came back and the Sanctum was completely abandoned. The mansion is up for grabs, and I guess you guys already grabbed it. And it turns out that their previous owners have been sent into a maze as well for running an unsanctioned portal in Sigil. I mean, if you go to a maze because you just open an unsanctioned portal in Sigil, you can imagine the sort of place the Lady of Pain would put you if you try to destroy her city. Normally, the maze, being mazed by the Lady of Pain would mean an eternal imprisonment, but as liches, they could eventually return to their phylacteries by destroying their bodies. The problem is each of them had a piece of the rod of 7 parts on their bodies with their gear. And if they and the items do not regenerate with their bodies. If their bodies are destroyed in the base, the pieces of the rod will remain there forever. That's why there is one piece of the rod that is irretrievable. It's in one of the Lady of Pain's maze. Realizing that they would need a way out, Midge came up with an idea to attempt a commune spell, reaching out to the Lady of Pain directly. She tried to bargain, offering the fact that they were Vecna's greatest threat at the moment. I mean, I think you guys exaggerated a little bit. I mean, you oversold a little bit your position, but you've managed to use this as leverage to be released because apparently the Lady of Pain is a mortal enemy of Vecna, but she never leaves Sigil. So there's some missions outside Sigil she can't really do. So perhaps you guys could be acting on her behalf. Who knows? And the Lady of the Pain's response to Midge was that Midge was a bit unclear. But then, next, Drays of Force another commune spell via wish, making the case that they had the means to destroy Vecna, but they couldn't do it if they were trapped. This time, the Lady of Pain apparently responded more favorably, and a will-o-wisp appeared, guiding the party towards the maze's exit. The party using Windwalk, the 3 liches just slip through a hairline of a crack in the exit door, finally escaping their would-be eternal prison and returning to Sigil. Back in Sigil, outside the mortuary, they immediately realized 2 things. Well, the first one is that they were completely exhausted. Time passes differently in the extra-dimensional place than it does outside. And 4 days had passed. When they returned, they were extremely exhausted. It seems that being mazed really takes it out of you, huh? And they needed to feed their phylacteries immediately because if that reached the 6 days of their phylacteries being hungry, their lich exhaustion would consume their bodies and they would become demi-liches at my control. And then, I could just be joining here every Friday and telling the story myself, as I would be just running the 3 NPCs demi-liches. How we conclude the story of 3 monsters, who knows? Well, with no energy left for further escapades, the trio has returned to their to the sanctum to recuperate. They've returned briefly to the sanctum, and then they had to run back to their phylacteries in order to feed them. The mission remains unfinished, and time is running out before. Time already ran out. For their meeting with Kaz. They have no idea what happened with the meeting with Kaz. They didn't have time. They had to go back to feed their phylacteries. And let's see, but there is a little bit of an update I need to give you guys. And let me see if you guys can figure this one out by yourselves. Let's check how is our rod race going out so far. So, it's a race to 7. And it turns out that while you guys were in a maze having some fun, finally, after you returned to the sanctum, exhausted but I guess triumphant, I guess you could say, confident that only a few hours had passed since your incarceration in the Lady of Pain's labyrinth, but unbeknownst to you, you were wrong. More than a full day had passed in Sigil, and in that time, something very important had happened. The rendezvous with Kaz had already taken place in the sanctum, but only Volkar was there when Kaz arrived. And with no response from any others, he attempted to contact Cyril, only to receive a baffling reply that Cyril had no idea what Volkar was talking about. Whether it was the wrong Cyril, was just sheer incompetence. I mean, hard to tell sometimes. But Volkar had no time to argue. So he reached out to Necrolumpa, and Necrolumpa did show up, and an exchange was made. One of the pieces of her rod, one of the pieces that you guys had off the rod, the piece that Necrolumpa was holding, to paraphrase that, was exchanged for one of Kaz's pieces, and it turns out that is one of the pieces of your rod. So now you have 6. Oh, guys, things actually progress when you guys are not around. Perhaps you were part of the problem. When after a deal was made, Kaz was deeply suspicious of Volkar. Well, that's neither here nor there. It seems that they agreed to trade once more. But now Kaz was convinced that there's something wrong with this whole arrangement, and well, he didn't know you guys have 5 pieces of the rod. It still seems to be a sort of secret. But Kaz, suspicious as he was, raised his price. His price just went up. Now, to get another piece of the rod, Kaz is demanding 2 pieces in exchange for 1. And if you guys refuse, well, that's up to you. But you have Volkar has 72 hours to contact Kaz before he can bring the fight to you guys. And I mean, you can either make a deal with the Kaz that is in Sigil, or you can make a deal with the you can fight that Kaz that is outside Sigil that was so big that his foot would occupy the entire perimeter of the Death House. I mean, good luck with that. Do you want to fight the Kaz that slay the god, or you want to make a deal with the Kaz that is still small and weak enough that it can enter Sigil? Up to you guys. I think something for you to think about while you're feeding your phylacteries. And on that note, let me bring you guys back to the sanctum. Let's call this 5 days later, as you finally fed your phylactery, remove all the hunger for souls and exhaustion, and you reached. Well, that's a bit weird of a. What have they done here? All right. And you reach the sanctum. And oh wow, they really got creative here with the walls.
Something doesn't feel like it right. This place feels different.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh yes, you guys are on the second floor. Let me describe to you where you are. In here, there is a roaring fireplace. That are built into the east and west walls of this lounge. There are comfortable couches and chairs. There are artfully arranged before a grand staircase that leads downwards. That's where you guys come from. And Volkar is sitting on the couch in the corner and says, "Finally, huh? Where the hell is Midge?"
Mage is off tending to her shrooms and her plants.
Well, what is... It has been 5 days. Why is she still doing that?
At this point, I've learned just not to question Midge when she gets into this kind of mood. You know, it just doesn't go well. I tend to get infested, and then I have to pick bugs out of my head and my armor for weeks, and it's just not worth it.
Look, when you have gardening and insecting you have to do, they need constant love and care. Come on, Volkar.
And I have no idea what they've done here with the light, because something is odd here. There is a piece of the room there that is completely dark. This area there, I don't know. It's a secret area. What is happening? Anyway, you guys are by yourselves in the sanctum, so I'm just gonna remove all the lightning of this place. There you go. Done. Very well. You are on the second floor. So here's how the architecture of this sanctum you came to know. This here is the side view of the sanctum. This is the main entrance. Oh, you guys can't see it. Okay, let's try again. This is the main entrance. These are 4 suspended rooms in each tower. On 4 towers, and then you climb the stairs and you reach the place where you are. It's the second floor. It's this area where you are right now. So the sanctum has 4 bedrooms, one of which still has Lumpa, who you guys last session told cut a deal with her to pay your debt. She would take you to Avernus to retrieve a piece of the rod. And she's been waiting for your return patiently for almost a week now, because you guys just said, "Oh, we're just gonna go there. 10 minutes, we'll be right back." Yes, your 10 minutes. I gotta say, guys, your 10 minutes really. You really need to tell people 10 minutes in which place. Is it 10 minutes in the Feywild? 10 minits in where? Because
did she use sending? Like I said, she can use sending to me.
Wumpa?
Yes.
No, she did not use sending. She was patiently waiting with Volkar, who was probably giving her some advice in the lines of, "Don't worry, they are idiots. They will be back soon. They should be. They always waste too much time. It's probably Cyril's fault." And it turns out that the advice was correct. You guys did waste a lot of time recovering from your latest shenanigans. But
my wish stress is gone. Then you said it's been 5 days.
Oh yeah, same.
Oh yes, it has been 5 days.
14 strength. Here I come.
Yes, and Cyril, I have to say, you still have that hand holding an invisible rod that you don't know for sure if it exists.
I use some glue.
I
asked Volker for some glue.
Very
Not
well.
magic glue, just bog standard glue.
So you just glued your hand in that fixed position, just to make sure that if there is something in your hand, yes, folks, Cyril has a rod that he's not 100% sure it exists, or is a quarterstaff. Who knows? He can't see it. He can't see the item at all, even with his true sight. And he's been holding this item, maybe it's a placebo effect, in the hopes that the item does exist and gives him power. Be as it may, he has performed better because he believes this item to be true that he's holding on his hand. Turns out that Wumpa carries the actual chronomancer staff with her, and Cyril he saw a real one, and now he might. Cyril, how are you reconciling those two realities? I mean, you saw the real one. Now there is there's potentially a a fake one on your hand, but it's glued together. So if it is fake and invisible, how are you reconciling this?
Well, my thinking is there's multiple timelines, which means there's multiples of this item. So there's the possibility that in some other timeline, the item that I am or am not holding is invisible or not visible to me. So in my head, I'm still right. It's still in my hand, sealed shut with some glue, and the placebo lives on.
Very well, very well. And one more person comes to join you guys in this reunion. Now, this should be interesting.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
So Cyril, as original Cyril, the beautiful version of yourself who merged its phylactery with the vestige of the evening glory, and became a beautiful Lich. Let's just zoom in. Look at that well taken care of beard. Now that's just, look at that, beautiful.
Handsome man.
As he enters this room, and finally the two Cyrils meet each other, and you realize that your theory of about reality and the timelines is not actually something you're just bullshitting everybody with. It actually is true. I mean, if there was a part of you who didn't believe it in before, now it does. And here is original Cyril. Well, how would the Cyrils talk to each other? I mean, I guess you're gonna have to role play with yourself now.
God. First off, I'm going to roll let me get up original Cyril sheet. I believe it's a charisma save. Otherwise, I'm charmed with the locket. So that is going to be. I have advantage.
I did mine just in case.
Oh yeah, we all have to do it, unfortunately. Oh, that's meant to be with advantage. That's
Oh yes,
3.
let me put a little aura here, because it's Valentine Days, and the original Cyril, with his aura of charm from the evening glory, everybody that gets around 30 feet from him suddenly starts to behave favorably, and sometimes even more passionately towards Cyril. So Drazov, that is the case to you, and apparently not the case. Oh, and it is the case to Creek as well. What is the DC of that?
20.
I got a 29.
Oh, very well. So
What was the DC?
it's 15. 20. Okay.
Yeah.
So Drazov, yes, and fake Cyril, you are in love, narcissistically in love with yourself, I guess. Drazov, you gotta keep the appearances, but you're so glad this Cyril is back. I mean, the other Cyril is just not. He's just not good enough. That one is the best version.
I would love to borrow the inspiration of original Cyril as he walks into the room.
Very well.
We're playing this lovely tune, and all of a sudden, got no skin, but he's a dream to everyone. Just bones and swagger making all the ladies run. And liches. Miles of riddle wrapped in mystery and charm. When Cyril walks old tombstones, they sound the alarm. And you just hear like this beautiful tune about you.
Nice, man. I feel so serenaded.
Drazov is gonna head over to Fancy Cyril, and it's a Cyril. I think you would really appreciate some of the experiments that I've got going on in my laboratory. Perhaps you would allow me to show them to you. I think I would very much appreciate it if if I were to experiment on you. I mean, for you, with you.
I'm sorry now. I can't remember which Cyril fell for the
This
experiments
one.
last.
This one.
This one.
It was this.
You heard that line before.
Yeah. So
What?
our pretty Cyril's gonna look at Drazolf and say, I mean, last time it did not work out very well, but I mean, never say never. But for now, I think I'll stick to my own experiments based around the time continuum that seems to have myself and, by the looks of it, a slightly uglier version of myself over there. But thank you very much, Drazolf. Maybe the ugly
Yeah.
version of me will hop into your vats of liquid goo. And he's gonna.
Oh, these experiments have nothing to do with vats of liquid goo. I just and I have no idea what that wretched imposter put you through, but I have great things planned for you. Yes.
I'm gonna say no, and he's gonna slowly shuffle past Drazolf, like not taking his eyes off of him after last time. And it's going to he's gonna stand in front of himself, and it's gonna say, "God, you're so just ugly." And Cyril's gonna say, "You're so pretty. What's that about? Are we what?" And the two of them are just gonna look themselves up and down. And original Cyril is going to stick his right hand out to shake Cyril's hand, and Cyril's going to awkwardly give him his left hand because his right hand is holding the placebo staff. he's gonna awkwardly shake it that way, and he's gonna say, "God, you even do this basic stuff so weird. What? And he's gonna look around to Drazolf and to Creek, and he's gonna say, "Do you all shake hands like this?"
It's like shaking hands with the mirror. He's giving you the wrong hand to shake.
Oh no, I do not know what is going on with him, but please
Look.
just follow me back to my laboratory, and I will show you such wonderful new ways of shaking hands.
You
Listen,
guys need to-
Dr. Azolf, I've told you I'm not going into your test tubes again.
If there is one thing I learned about duplicate people, just know there's always a beautiful side and an ugly side. You have to love all of you, Cyril. Come on. You two are each other, no matter how different you look.
And in unison, we're both going to go, I mean, we're both pretty genius and very intelligent when it comes to, and as we're speaking, we start looking at each other as we're saying the same thing, as it comes to matters of time. And then we
Well,
hesitate and go, banana bread, scary seagulls, all in unison, and we're just like, oh, we are the same.
I would give inspiration, but unfortunately I can't split into two. So I guess half inspiration. Round it up. All right. It turns out, as you arrive here, Volkar, despite being particularly happy that original Cyril, I mean, if you guys ever saw Volkar smiling, I guess when he sees one of these Cyrils, the expression in his face would be clearly disappointment, as he's very frustrated with Cyril's shenanigans and competencies. But the original Cyril, every time he sees, it's like he's almost happy. There's almost a smirk in his skeletal face, and as he turns to you guys, he says, "Okay, so there have been a little bit of a development. While you guys were, doing whatever it is that you do to feed your phylacteries, it turns out that Sigel's longest reigning undead bureaucrat, Facto Skull, has announced his retirement to his staff. So as you know, Facto Skull is one of the oldest liches in the multiverse. He was once said to be the original, the first person to inhabit Sigil besides the Lady of Pain herself. And before he transcends to what he calls true death, quote unquote, he has asked the Lady of Pain to appoint his successor. Naturally, this has created a massive power vacuum within the Heralds of the Dust, the faction that oversees the mortuary. And who's making a big play for that throne, you guys think? Care to give it a guess?
It should be original Cyril. Man, he would be such a role model.
Well, given his current fight against his wife passing away, I think he was not going to be a good fit for the job, as the job requires you to, transition creatures to the next stage of their existence, from the material world to the outer planes. No, who is making a big play to the throne? Kaz. Kaz apparently is putting some lobby hard work to try and get this job, using his bargaining chips, I guess. His enmity with Vecna, because, well, nothing, I guess, says leader material like wanting to destroy a Lich god, and his role in tipping off the Lady of Pain about the unsectional portal in this facility, which got Tasha, Lustro, and the shittier version of me trapped into a maze. For now, apparently no decisions have been made, but now that explains why Cass is here, why he's wandering around the mortuary, why there is a version of him. It's simply because he's trying to secure this position. And it could change everything. If Kaz is given command over the Spirit Sunk, which is, the Spirit Sump is this massive pool inside the mortuary, which is an amalgamation of different souls from the creatures in Sigil who passed away. That is a lot of necromantic firepower. If he has control over there, he could probably destroy Vecna with it, or maybe make it himself even more powerful than the Lich God. But I guess we have to decide if we should interfere with his bid to the Heralds of the Dust throne, or perhaps we should just focus on the threat he made us to either exchange another piece of the rod for 2 pieces of that we have in the next 72 hours. Yeah, it has been. I had to ask him for another extension of the deadline, thanks to you guys taking your time to feed your phylacteries. And but now we really just have 72 hours to exchange 2 pieces of our rods by 1 piece of his, or the next time we are of Sigil, we're gonna have to meet the demigod version of Kaz that is outside the town, waiting for us to, I guess, smoosh us like bugs. Also, we have Wumpa waiting in a room for good part of a week for you guys, as we have promised her she would get her stuff back if she only spell gemmed us to the 9 hells. I don't know how you guys tend to play that out, but I can warn you, she's really not someone you want to piss off. We have enough problems as it is. Go ahead.
what is the timetable on the fragment? Wait, what?
The timetable on what? Drazov?
Oh, sorry, no, I thought somebody else was talking. What is the timetable on this cast taking over the mortuary?
Well, there's no timetable. I mean, is when the Lady of Pain makes a decision. We have no idea how urgent. We know that Facto Skull is retiring and is not going to abandon his post until he has someone to succeed him. So I'm not really interested in the job, even though after I asked for Neru's intervention last time, he's asking me to take control over the. I don't think the Lady of Pain really likes me enough for that, and but Neru perhaps would put a good word with her. I don't know. Anyway, he would be very happy if I was sitting on top of his spiritual sum, and he would have a little bit of influence within Sigil, which is something he's been wanting for a very long time. I don't think I'm a neutral party, but she would never consider me. But perhaps if one of you is interested in just creating some issues for Kaz and applying for the position, Cyril, I don't think you would be qualified. Drazov, perhaps you're crazy enough. She might consider you. And Krieg, at least every soul would have their own soundtrack when they are marching into the outer plane. I guess the mortuary would be more colorful with you.
Yeah, I can make a tomb-raising song. Ba-na-now, ba-na-now-now.
Yes, I think I would be most qualified for this endeavor. But I want to make sure that our goals are being met.
Well, we could go to Avernus without Midge, but if we do that, she's not gonna be able to meet us there until we're back.
Well, before we even go to Avernus, don't we need to get the item from Necrolumpa still?
Well, we already did. You see, as I explained to you last time, Krieg, turns out the Necrolumpa was the only one who showed up when push came to shove. And she exchanged her piece of the rod that she had retrieved from the Kraken with Kaz. And turns out we were able to verify that the resonance of that piece of the rod is the same as the other pieces of the rod. It's the same as the one I have.
Well, Volkar, we're not like the Inspired Designs. Even though we got stuck in the Lady in the Pain's maze, we got out of it. I'm sorry we weren't there. Time flows so weirdly when you're trapped.
Yeah, it's still tough to believe that you guys managed to bargain with the Lady of Pain. I have to say, it's the first I heard anyone was able to do that. She must really hate Vecna. Or she wants to fix the mess she made. Have I told you guys about this story?
You have not. That's a story I don't even know.
So, long story short, long time ago, Vecna managed to have his cult, a few fanatics of his cult, living in Sigil, and they've managed to create an unsanctioned portal in Sigil, where it was, although very unstable portal, it blew up a few seconds after it was created. It turns out that while the portal was still operational, the few seconds it worked, Vecna crossed through it, and he head straight to the mortuary, where he intended to drain the full energy of the spirit sump in order to make himself a god, to feed all those souls into his phylactery. That would make him very, very powerful, indeed. However, the fact that the portal was too unstable and blew up drew the attention of the Lady of Pain, who realized what was going on, and before Vecna could do anything to the spirit sum, he showed up. And, he was stupid enough to try and stop her by draining the energy of the spirit sum and challenging her that she couldn't do anything against him because, and I'm paraphrasing here, he was becoming a god. So the Lady of Pain, according to the witnesses, tells him that if he wanted to be a god, she would make him a god. And she turns him into a quasi-deity. And the moment she does that, his connection with the spirit sum breaks. All the power he was draining just goes away, and he's forever banished out of Sigil. You see, Sigil has a permanent rule that exists since its creation. No god can come to this city. That's why the other castes cannot come in. And that's why Vecna was never going to be able to return to Sigil. I mean, I understand that the Lady of Pain wanted to protect her city, but by turning Vecna into a quasi-deity, she kind of breached that wall and kind of turned him into something he was trying to become a long time. Maybe that was his plan all along. Who knows? Maybe he just got lucky. But if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be a Lich god today. And if he hadn't actually burst through that ceiling, he wouldn't be a Lich god today. So she kind of created a problem for the rest of the multiverse. Well, a ticking time, a bomb to the rest of the multiverse who was living in peace up to then. And perhaps now she wants you guys to fix it. I mean, that's the only thing I can think it makes sense in this, because I never see or never heard of the lady being merciful to anyone.
Well, I don't see it as merciful. I just see it more as in exchange.
Be as it may, you guys get a very rare second chance. In fact, I've been thinking perhaps I should be the one to keep all the pieces of the rod that we collected so far, just in case you guys are mazed again.
That
No.
seems unwise. This just putting all of our eggs in one basket, so that basket can then be smashed all at once.
I find particularly difficult to smash me, particularly if I'm here in the sanctum. No one will be able to do much against me under the watchful eyes of the Lady of Pain.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's part
Because
of
no one was able to do anything to the previous inhabitants of this sanctum. Because that's why they're still here, yes?
Well, it turns out that they were doing something that is considered illegal in Sigil, which is you don't open a portal unless it's sanctioned by the Lady of Pain. And I mean,
Yes,
should-
and then they all got smashed. The whole bag of the whole basket of eggs got smashed all at once. Yes.
well, but that, one may argue, played in our favor, since now one of the rods, the one that Kaz is trying to get, it has been made irretrievable.
Yes, irretrievable. And that is a thing that I think we should keep in mind. Because if we give all of them to you, and then the basket that is you gets smashed, then all of them become irretrievable. And then we have nothing.
I'm with Drazolf on that. You don't know what our enemies and what the other version of our enemies are doing. One version of Cast managed to screw you over, Vokar. Who's to say another version of Vecna or someone else can screw you over?
Well, what I can tell you is, I think, right now, the fact that I didn't have 2 pieces of the rod to trade, that were tradable, was one of the reasons why it's now costing us more to go after the last piece, or to try and exchange for it. So, quite frankly, if you have to put your eggs on Creek's basket, or right now, if it wasn't for your very, very impossible bargain, we wouldn't have enough pieces of the rod to complete any of the 2 rods. Both pieces would be trapped in a maze in an interdimensional place somewhere, and we would be screwed. So, it seems like a good plan to just, while I plant my roots here in the Sanctum, which seems the only other place in the multiverse where we can talk, while I'm here, having to wait for you guys to figure out your stuff before we can march towards Vecna, I could keep the pieces of the rods safe.
I still would.
I am not giving you my piece of the rod.
It seems you guys have some serious trust issues, but do you really trust nothing bad is going to happen? You're not going to be mugged by a devil when you go to Avernus and lose a piece of a crucial rod. We now have 6 pieces. All we need is a piece of the other rod so that we can trade for the 7 piece that we don't have, actually. Wait, am I doing that math right? And he starts to think, and yeah, it turns out that now one of the casts has 4 pieces of the same rod, but one of the pieces of the rod is in a maze, and you guys, if you want to trade for the 7 piece, you gotta find a way to retrieve the 2 pieces of the rod that have no owner right now. One of which you went to the mortuary to try and find, and the other one, which might be in Avernus, it might be in the temple of the Mother of Dragons, Vecna. So you have no idea where these 2 pieces are. You have 2 leads on it, thanks to Vokar's information network, and if you want to get the Primus piece, the last piece of the rod above, you would have to give up to Kazin within 72 hours those 2 other pieces. Now, what he's suggesting to you is that if you go out in a mission in Avernus or in a mortuary or whatever it is, and you get screwed over, you guys are going to be in a very tough position where you cannot do any of the 2 rods if you lose the pieces of the rod above.
How do we know it's stuck in that maze? You think Vokar would have gotten out by now, or something would have happened?
Well, it is possible he got out. And in any case, if he did, the piece of the rod is still there.
Above the table. Sorry, were you gonna say something too?
No, go ahead, man.
Above the table, I'm thinking that we've already got kind of inroads with the Lady of Pain, and she potentially has control over 2 of those pieces already. So if we just go talk to her, maybe we can get those 2 without
Well, also, what about
actually
this?
having to.
So you broke up there a bit
You-
for me.
you-
I don't know if
Yeah,
that's-
you broke up for me as well, Drazov.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that if we go and the Lady of Pain ostensibly has control over 2 of the pieces of the rod. The one that the other Vokar has, and the one that is in the mortuary, which is in her domain. So if we go and talk to the Lady of Pain, we now have at least some kind of like baseline friendship or potential friendship with allyship with that maybe we can work that angle. Get
So
2
you,
pieces without actually having to fight.
so your suggestion is that we managed to bargain with the Lady of Pain to herself retrieve the other 2 pieces of the rod, go there and fetch 2 pieces of the rod for us, because you didn't get away enough with getting out of her maze. Now you're really trying to get her as a patron on your side. Oh boy.
I am thinking that she let us out of the maze because she wanted an ally against Vecna. And we are a better ally if we are better armed against Vecna. And it seems natural, it seems to just follow naturally that she would want her allies better armed against her enemies.
I think I have an idea too. Which is rare, I know.
Well, your last idea got us put into a maze, so I'm not.
Don't worry. This doesn't
I'm
involve
not
the problem.
optimistic. But please continue.
Look, why does this other cast want the other pieces of the rod to trade? That doesn't make sense. Since the other cast has that rod. Why? It has to be 2 for 1? I know he's trying to take Facto Skull's position, but what if we did run against him, and if it looked like he was going to lose, why don't we trade favorism for the position for the rod piece? Give him something else that's considered valuable to him, aside from 2 pieces of the rod. We don't have to make it...
You're missing the big picture, Greek. You see, Kaz is outside of Sigil. One of the versions of Kaz is a demigod. Inside Sigil, one of his versions is trying to get control over a resource that even Vecna wanted. A control that in the hands of a necromancer could turn a god and a demigod into a greater god, or even beyond. A god of death in its own right. So, that is what Facto Skull is. I mean, there are no gods in Sigil, but if there were, that Lich holds the power of one on his hands by controlling the spirit sum.
What
Now,
I mean is, because if we go out to find those other 2 pieces, that other cast, who knows? We'll probably meet that demigod somewhere else as he's getting the other pieces of his rod. Why don't we try to go for the position of the mortuary? And if it looks like Koss is going to lose, we could trade the position of the mortuary for that rod. None of us want to run it, but Koss wants it, and if we have something valuable that he wants, aside from the piece of the rod, we can alternatively use that to bargain with him.
you can't just bargain a position in the city of the Lady of Pain, Greek. If she appoints you to that, you're gonna be there forever. I mean, how old is the multiverse? However old is the multiverse, that's probably just a few years older than Facto Skull. He's been there for far too long. You need to be appointed by the lady. If you want to. She doesn't really intervene on politics. But I guess he's enough of an important figure to ask her to appoint a replacement, or at least to confirm the appointment of one. Now, the point is, you won't be able to bargain with that position once you are there. But you are. You see, the one thing I can say it's predictable about Kaz is his hate towards Vecna. He wants Vecna destroyed as much as I do, at least we share that in common. And he wants to destroy Vecna for his own reasons, but by being in control of the spirit summoned inside Sigil, and being a powerful god outside Sigil, he not only can go toe-to-toe with Vecna, he could potentially erase Vecna from have ever existed in the multiverse. Erase his phylactery. And I have to say, that's a very strategical plan, as I would expect out of a general of Vecna. Or an ex-general of Vecna. He's trying to get... He's leveraging on the fact that he's duplicated, just like yours. Your chronomancer there. He's taking advantage of that to achieve two objectives that will piss off Vecna, and that will make him as powerful to defeat the Lich as he can possibly dream of being. So, by getting the pieces of the rod, the demigod version of him who is outside of Sigil will have the final piece of artifact and weapon that he needs to destroy Vecna. Kaz will probably be the most powerful god in the multiverse. If he destroys Vecna, takes its place, and then he can use the spirit sum to just start erasing things. It is a race against Vecna, but we have to make sure that Kaz is not the one taking that throne. If he takes it, quite frankly, I don't know which one of the two is the least worst option.
What do we think so, guys? I'm
honestly a little confused. The whole
It is a bit terrifying to think to go for the other two rods, because who knows if they've already been taken, and plus, if we leave this place, we might have to deal with the demigod Cass. There's always going to be trouble everywhere we go, even if we try to avoid it.
yeah.
Right. And so we know that one of these extra pieces is in Avernus, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know that for certain, but that's the only lead you guys have.
Well,
one lead leads to Avernus, one lead leads to the mortuary.
That's the lead. Okay. All right. So there's Avernus, the mortuary, and the piece that's trapped in the maze.
Yes.
I mean, all seriousness, I'm still thinking that our best move at this point is go talk to the Lady of Pain.
I just think summoning the Lady of Pain is quite difficult first off, and then even though she has a hatred for Vecna, she might see it as like look at these peasants summoning me. Who do they think they are?
You can't summon an over god. It would be like a commune spell again.
But like going to like, is there? This is her domain. We are in her domain. Is there not like a place we can go for like an audience?
No.
I was saying with the
Um,
Overgod, I don't think so, but I think we've already used our bargaining chip with Lady of the Pain. I think our favor points are basically
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. I think her
After that.
getting ye out of the maze
Yeah.
was her helping, and that's as far as she'll go.
Plus, if you
I don't-
talk to her again after you said you already have the means to destroy her, I don't want to suffer the going the maze again.
Yeah. I agree.
you told
Fair
her
enough.
you had the means to destroy Vecna!
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Wait! Did you lie? Successfully deceived the Lady of Pain? Did I hear that right?
No,
I do not know what you think you heard, but no, I did not lie to the Lady of Pain. Why would I do something so foolish?
Did you tell the Lady of Pain you had the means to defeat Vecna?
I may have implied that I was on the way to having such means,
Oh boy.
but this is not inaccurate. We are indeed on that. We're on our way to that track. I mean, we have 6 out of 7 pieces. We only need 7, and then Vecna will be destroyed. It was a minor fib at best, at worst.
I mean, I have to say that's
Brave.
oh, that is. I don't know if it's equally brave or equally stupid. Now you do realize where you're gonna return to if you don't fulfill destroying Vecna. I mean, Trezov, I don't know you realized you just got to deal with one of the most powerful entities in the multiverse. I mean, the only creature I can think it's more powerful than the Lady of Pain is AO himself, if they are not siblings. Now, I can tell you, if you gotta deal with her, the three of you are bounded to destroy Vecna. You better succeed. If you go to her saying that, hey, and by the way, I need a little bit more help from you in order to fulfill. I tend to agree with Creek. There's a chance she might just put you in the maze. But again, if you had asked me when you were inside the maze, well, let's use commune with the Lady of Pain, see if we get out of here, I would have laughed of your stupid idea. But it turns out your stupid idea was not as stupid at all. So, perhaps you are not stupid and I'm stupid. Or I'm too skeptical. Or perhaps that is a stupid idea. I guess only time will tell.
When he
I
said
love
time, I look at Sarah.
All I can tell you is, Drazov, now that you cut a bargain with her, you're gonna have to leech what you preach.
Very well. Then I guess we have no choice but to see that Vecna is destroyed before we
Talk with her again. Yes.
once again speak to the Lady of Pain. Fair
So,
enough. Yeah. So,
at the minute, it seems like we venture to Infernus.
Without Midge!
You're right. Midge would hate us so dearly if we went, and there's the chance of finding some hell fungi, so maybe not. God.
I think, sir, no disrespect, but I think we should hear from the pretty one.
The pretty one?
Yes, he should be the one making the decisions among the two of us. Perhaps for now, you should stay a little bit on the sidelines.
Oh,
I also agree with it. I think that one should also be making the decision for the two of you. No offense, but you are less compelling.
I mean, he is very, very pretty, and something about that well-kept beard just does it for me. So I think I'll let him speak for the two of us for some things, yes. And original still go, well, thank you. I'm very happy to speak for us, I suppose.
I like
Once
it.
again,
You got the looks. I got the voice. That's
yeah,
pretty
I mean,
sane.
everyone is still acting a little unusual towards me. But I suppose when you're as pretty as I am, people are just nice to you. That's just how life works.
Yes, and once again, if you would like to return with me
No.
to my laboratory, I would be more than happy
No,
Are
no,
you,
no. I will never
okay,
trust
you seem
a person by the name
Just
of
throwing it out.
Dr. Azulf again.
Oh, Trazov, that's a Lich that means business. Whoa, I gotta say, we have to make a choice here. Our next move might be our downfall, or not. It seems the stakes are getting higher and higher as we keep going. So, we have a few options on the table. We can go to the mortuary. We can go to Avernus. We can try and apply for the same position as the causes, just to thwart his plans. Either way, he has something we need, and either we're gonna take that something from his, well, disintegrated body, or we're gonna have to find a way ourselves to complete the rod. Once we have the 7 pieces, I'll tell you what we need to do with it. In any case, I still haven't heard the compelling argument of why I shouldn't have all 7 pieces with all 6 all 6 pieces with me.
Do an insight on that.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Very well. Creek, I have to say, fair enough, you guys were not here when Volkar met with Kaz. And you don't know how that played out or how that conversation played out. But I mean, since you've known Volkar, he never had such an insight on how Cass thinks and what Cass is doing. I mean, at least if he had, he never shared with you such insights on Cass' strategy, where Cass is going, what he's planning to do. So, I mean, that is an anomaly that he's sharing so much with you guys.
Wait, who's mental connection with me still? All these guys?
There's no mental connection going on at the moment.
I thought I had telepathy with a couple people.
Drazolf has telepathy with everybody, but that's a one-way connection from him, not not back to anybody else.
Okay. Look at Vokar. I say, come on, Vokar. You. I know you always have plans, but even you don't take such great risks. You're the one who first recommended all of us had our own pieces. We've gone through so much turmoil. We've seen Cass. We've been sent to a maze. I've been hit with acid. Yeah, I know. I made Landro. Where is Landro, by the way? As Creek looks around.
Well, he was here somewhere. I saw him, I guess some time ago. He's probably wandering through Sigil and trying to convince people that they should give him his arcane secrets or whatnot. I mean, he was particularly chatty about the hag he met the other day. So, I guess he's somewhere here, in Sigil. I don't know, I'm not his babysitter.
Character. He was left at the Necro Tree, if I remember. This is out of character. Why would he be in Sigil, Creek thinks? He has no way to teleport.
Oh yeah, he was left in the Necro Tree indeed. Oh, my memory. I don't give a damn about him, so I really don't know his whereabouts.
Does my natural 20 insight make that more suspicious?
Well, if anything, the fact that the memory of this Volcar sucks only makes him more only makes you more biased towards believe that this is Volcar. And indeed, that's himself. That happens all the time. I mean, you can only. I mean, when you guys were visiting the god floating, the body of the dead god floating in space, he could barely remember your names. So sometimes, his memory just comes and goes.
But everything else regarding how he knows Costa's strategy, that's...
Yeah, he seems particularly sharp on that one today.
Well,
I mean, that's a very keen insight. It's not like... You see, Creek, it's not like Cass would just come here and, start to discuss all his plans and what he's doing and his long-term strategy to take down Vecna and so on. I mean, Volcar does know a lot, and he did spend a long time working with Vecna and with Cass. One being the right hand, the other left hand. So if there are two people that Volcar really knows are I guess you could say the people he knows best are Vecna and Cass. But at the same time, it's a bit unusual that he's so insightful about the strategy and he's sharing so much about what Cass is going to do. Also, it's unusual that he's asking to keep all the pieces of the rod. I have to say, things change. The circumstances have changed. We are so close to our goal. All we gotta do is really just make sure we have insurance. I'm gonna take the whole 6 pieces of the rod and put them in a demiplane and make sure I'm the only one with the key to open. Don't worry, guys. This will keep things safe. I even got myself a scroll of demiplane from the library downstairs. Oh yes, they have a bunch of scrolls. Magical scrolls everywhere here. Interesting items.
Scroll of comments?
No.
And suddenly everybody in the room just goes quiet as they... And he says, no! No scroll of Comet Creek. I think, I think you should stay away from those for a very long time, unless you want us to disintegrate you.
Look, you've already done that once to me. The other version of you with a comet.
So you know the threat is believable.
I know you are unstable and unpredictable, but moving on. Wait, you and Necrolumpa went to Kos, or Necrolumpa to Kos. Where is she now? Why isn't she meeting us?
Well, turns out Necrolumpa is also out doing her own thing. So, I guess just like Midge, she stayed here for a few days waiting for you guys to return. You didn't. She said she had some business to attend. You know liches. They're always very busy. And Necrolumpa is one busy lich.
I thought you said that she was here waiting for us to go. You said she was waiting for us.
Oh,
Right?
that's Wumpa. That's Wumpa. That is the. I know. I don't know what's going on. It is some names. Sometimes they just get a trend, you know. And now everybody has Wumpa on their names. I don't know why. So yeah, Wumpa.
Very good.
And yes, Wumpa is standing right there in the room, in one of the towers, waiting for you guys to return, as you can see
Look,
there on the map.
if I had a parallel version of myself, they would name themselves Weak. Freaking Weak.
So, as I was saying, I think I should keep these pieces of the rod safe, just as an insurance that nothing's gonna happen to it. If you guys go on missions with it, we might be risking losing everything we worked so hard to get.
I mean, better they stay with the powerful liches than all be stuck with one powerful lich. So I think we'll keep them each. And he's gonna look around. Dre's off Creek. I'm sure you're okay with that. And Vokar, you hold on to yours for now, and I think we'll do it that way.
We've been thrown in many powerful situations with and without you. We're still here. We've dealt with Miska. We've dealt with We've dealt with being mazed by the Lady of Pain. Have a little credit for what we've been facing.
Okay, so let's
mean,
qualify
well-
those statements. Necrolumpa dealt with Miska. Drazov took you out of the maze, following Midge's idea, and well, it is a miracle indeed, Greek, that after all the shenanigans you've pulled, we are still here. Also, Cyril is being pursued by an vengeful seagull, angel-like celestial seagull that wants him to fulfill his promise to say a public apology to the seagull community and kiss the seagull's ass. Which, by the way, it's still out there outside Seagull, so good luck with that,
Yeah.
Cyril. So there's a good chance that the moment you guys step out of this city, one of your many enemies will come after you, and we may lose a piece of the rod. So I'm only trying to keep them safe.
Look, I've already dealt with. I think I dealt with myself, and don't you forget that I got the piece from Eberron when I used my diplomacy with Landro. Each of us have done something important with every mission that has come our way, whether it's Necrolupa, Midge, Drazov, or myself. We work all together, and since we work together, that's how we got all the pieces. Why do you want to put them all to you? Because now everyone's going to look and go to you. You're going to have all of our enemies on your back.
Oh, they don't know the pieces are with me. No one knows who has the pieces. I mean,
Koss knows you have the pieces. He literally has the only other piece, and he can try to find us with that. You think Koss won't try to get you? leaving
oh,
us
I'm
all
hoping
alone?
he didn't figure out that we have all the pieces of the same rod yet. I mean, he might be underestimating our progress. If there's one thing he has, is a big ego. So there's a good chance he would be underestimating us.
Well, he's talked to Midge, he's talked to Necrolumpa, and apparently he's talked to you. Who
Make
knows?
an insight check on that. 'Cause
Very well.
On
That's
me or
a
on
definitive statement. No, on Cyril. Or no, sorry, not on.
Who are you
Go
rolling?
for it.
Who are you rolling
on
inside on
Volcar.
on Volcar? Okay.
On Volcar. Yeah, I'm rolling insight on Volcar because that's a definitive statement that I don't think he's previously justified. So I rolled a 20 overall. 30. 20.
And
On the statement that Cass doesn't know that what
Drazov, you're cutting off really bad. The statement, the last thing I heard was statement of.
Yeah, on the statement that that Cass doesn't know whatever the last thing that you were saying was. The previous thing that sorry, I lost track of the conversation.
The last. Okay, so the last. Okay, so
you made
thanks.
a definitive statement about what Cass does or does not know, and that is what I'm rolling an insight check on.
Okay, and he's he looks based on that insight check, Drazov, as you look at Volkar, you said, "Wow, he really knows Kaz really well." I must say, Drazov, Volkar really knows his people. You wonder if he has the same type of knowledge about you, but he's really observant, and he's very insightful about how Kaz thinks. Very strategical. He really gets in the minds of his enemies. Yeah.
Hey, besides Volkar, who's gonna have the staff when all 7 of us had the parts? It's not like we'll be the ones to wield it individually. You already know you're gonna be wielding it against Vecna.
Well, yes, of course. So what is the difference?
I'd rather be guaranteed with all 7 pieces than already mess up at the close to the finish line.
Creek,
Really...
with all the respect, just a minute ago you were telling me you wanted to find another scroll of comet.
Yeah,
I really would like to trust you, but you haven't shown to us that you're quite volatile.
Yeah, and you've shown to me that you like to be a bench warmer that seems to study everything about costs. When have you hyperfixated at that? Where's that memory loss you just had 10 minutes ago about Landro?
It comes and goes. For the things that are important, I tend to remember better. For the things that I don't care about, like Landro, they really don't occupy a lot of space in my mind.
Look, I've seen you get possessed by a ghost when we first met. I've seen the other half. I've heard the other half of you get sent to a maze. You have a lot of faults yourself. You know that, right?
Yes.
Say that something happened while we were away.
Well, I've been the one solid pillar in this endeavor since they start. I was the one who put you guys together. I think I'm the one who is the most reliable to keep all these pieces of the rod. I'm just trying to make sure by the time you guys come back with the other 2 pieces, we have enough to bargain with Kaz and get the 7 piece, and the other 6 pieces haven't gone anywhere new.
I will agree with you.
You just said the other 2?
So yes, they're for the other...
2 pieces? That is...
Yes, there are 2 rods. And,
right, for the trade.
For the trade, yes.
I see.
And he goes back and sits on the couch as he waits for your decision. And while you guys are trying to figure this out, I'm gonna give you guys some minutes as we ask our audience, who is this demon lord? And we'll be right back, everybody. We'll take a quick bio break, 10-ish minutes, and we'll be right back.
Guys, do you want to go in lobby for a sec? Can we figure this out?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so you guys had some time to devise a strategy, and but before we resume the session, have you guys figured out which one is this demon lord? I bet that's what you were discussing for the past few minutes.
I'm gonna go with Doc Ock.
Okay.
Well, go with Vecna, but beautiful.
Vecna, but beautiful. Okay. All right. Okay. So, This is a deep cut as well. Now we are only doing deep cuts, and the name of this demon lord is Eddie Marcus. Oh, so for those of you who never heard of Eddie Marcus, well, that's because it was last seen in 3.5. And Admarcus is the original Zerial. Admarcus was a planetar who fell into the abysm and became the demon prince of madness. And he had the two forms. One of which is resembles his old self as a planetar, and the other one that has all sorts of tentacles coming out of his body. So yes, he's the original Zerial. So for those of you who thought Zerial was her story is so original about her falling and becoming the ruler of Avernus, no, that's that Admarcus did that first. All right, so let's get back to the sanctum, where you guys have been in this pre-operational meeting, your famous pre-operational meetings where you decide what your next steps and strategy, and the Volcar is waiting for you guys to figure out what you want to do, and he's been trying to convince you guys that best strategy moving forward is for you to leave all the pieces of the rod with him so that he can put it in a safe place, so that way if you are on a mission and something bad happens, like you are sent into a maze, all your progress is not lost. So, what would you guys like to do? What have you decided?
Oh, go for it.
So Cyril's going to stand up and is going to go, Volker, I understand your thinking, and
Which Cyril?
Cyril, not original, not pretty Cyril.
Not pretty Cyril. Okay, so the reception is not going to be as good as with pretty Cyril, but go ahead.
So Cyril's going to step up and is going to say, I appreciate the offer, and I think while it is selfless, and you're looking out for us, I think we're all well capable, powerful liches, and I think we're getting sidetracked here. We really do need to get back on our mission, and I mean, and he's going to point over to pretty Cyril. He's going to say, we have to show this fellow what we can do. I mean, for all he knows, we're in the timeline where these liches can do absolutely nothing. And original Cyril's going to give him a little nod and go, well, thank you. I would like to see what ye as a party can do, and hopefully it will distract that Razolf of trying to convince me to go off to his lab, because he doesn't seem to know to take no for an answer. And then Cyril's going to continue, and he's going to look to Razolf and Creek and say, I mean,
Very nice lab.
and original Cyril's going to just whisper to Creek and say, Is he just deaf, or am I speaking in tongues? He can't hear me.
I think you're speaking his love language.
Maybe that's the issue. And normal Cyril is going to continue and say, guys, I think we have to go back to the mortuary. I mean, before you guys got sent into the maze and I got abandoned, big surprise, Cyril gets left on his own, left out again. We had a plan. We were going looking for the piece of the rod that potentially is there, and at the minute, without Mage, we're not at our full strength. So I think taking on Avernus is probably the wrong idea. And pretty Cyril's gonna stand up and is gonna say, I like what this guy is putting out there. I think we should do that too. Mr. Volcar, I'm glad you offered to take the pieces of the rod off the rest of us here. But I think what the less handsome version of myself is saying is true. I think for the time being, it's probably best that we each hold on to them.
Well, if
As pretty Cyril is saying that, Drezolf is moved over to him and is taking out a measuring tape and taking Cyril's measurements, and is saying, "Do not worry. You will not be left alone ever again."
And Cyril's just gonna like continue over to normal Cyril or Cyril and just gonna say, what's wrong with that guy? I'm kind of worried. Kind of
Greek
worried.
looks over and says, "He's a freaky lich. He knows how to break your back in two. Watch out."
And original Cyril is gonna look to the others and say, "So maybe you guys can show me where this mortuary is, and I can see if you guys really have what it takes, and if that Drazolf will finally leave me alone, because he can." And quotations here, experiment on someone else.
Oh, there is no one else but you. Do not worry. I will not be deterred.
Well, okay. So I guess if you guys are going to the mortuary, what bad that could bring? I mean, you might as well go there and try and talk to Factor Skull. Perhaps he can put a good word for one of you to be the next leader of the Heralds of the Dust. Who knows? I guess, you could try diplomacy again. Seems that it's your forte. I do think, by the way, I should say, I do think that, this might go terribly wrong. But maybe that's just me being pessimistic. Anyway, if Midge arrives, I'll just ask her to wait here until you guys get back. So you can go to Avernus and see if you can find the other piece. By the way, from your first incursion into the mortuary, have you figured out any leads of where this rod piece may be inside that? Because you'll be looking for a needle in a haystack. Unless you, of course, go straight to the man and talk to Factor Skull, and ask him, where did he put it?
Yes, I'm thinking that is probably the wisest plan. That we should just
Well,
skip all the rigmarole.
Well, honesty
Yes.
is the best policy.
Is it though? I mean, is it really? Has it ever been? I feel like honesty is very rarely the best policy. I feel like lies are frequently more efficient.
Mhm. Tell me your best lie to bring Cyril into the lab. Oh wait,
I
that
mean,
was
is it-
Dr.
is it really a lie if it is true in your heart?
You said that bath would make us feel like new skeletons, even if it wasn't you exactly.
It's no such thing. That was that vicious imposter, and it he was a terrible liar. I, on the other hand, am a magnificent liar. I tell lies that you cannot even tell are lies because they are so silky smooth. They go down like butter.
You better roll a deception on me.
I think I'll roll an insight on that as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's a deception.
And actually, Pretty Cyril is absolutely good to you as well, because Creek's been weird with him all day. Oh!
You know,
Cyril.
Oh, just barely. How
you,
does
have
that
Bardic-
resolve?
you also have Bardic Inspiration, pretty Cyril.
Oh yeah, I don't need to use it. Pretty Cyril's just gonna continue staring at Trays off in disbelief. It's just gonna shake his head and say, to Cyril, and he's gonna say, "Where did you find him? He's very much a unique fella, isn't he?" and Cyril's gonna look back to him and be like, "Yeah, he's great. He's a genius." Unaware that he's being lied to.
You are right, though. You are not. We are not the inspired designs. We are the originals. I'm sorry to doubt you. Let us go.
I have to say, with Vecna expanding Pantheon and portfolio of things he's covering across the multiverse, I think time is of the essence. His plans might be near conclusion already. I mean, it's been a long time since we heard about a goddess of magic, and now we have Vecna, the god of magic and mother of all chromatic dragons, and I think it's the god of secrets. It seems that his portfolio is expanding, but at the same time, I always remembered him as the god of magic. Haven't you guys?
Who? Cyric?
No. Vecna apparently is the god of magic. Oh, now that's a very powerful position. Wasn't there a lady there before?
Our memories, or
No, not your memories.
do we still remember the old timeline?
You can all roll intelligence to see if you can keep that memory.
Yeah, I thought the goddess of magic had a blue sunblade.
Straight intelligence.
Oh no, that is the goddess of blade singings. Not that's like a 2 steps down in the hierarchy from the goddess of magic. Well, Drazov, as usual, you've managed to retain the memory that the goddess of magic used to be it was assassinated. Used to be someone named Mistra. Now, Volkar is saying that he remembers the god of magic as always being Vecna, but well, Volkar is not very good in retaining memories, so that might be the reason. While your brain is so entangled that you've managed to keep it. Cyril and Creek, you seem to have an impression, but you can't really recall a time when there was another god of magic in the multiverse.
Volkar, once again, your memory seems to be failing you. The goddess of magic was Miska.
Miska, the wolf spider!
Mistra.
Mistra?
Was
Never
Mistra. Forgive my accent.
Never heard of Mistra. But since I can remember, he has been Vecna. Although I have this weird feeling that there used to be someone else, but I can't remember.
Yes, it was Mistra. And the goddess of chromatic dragons was
Vecna as well.
Brain fart. Sorry, one second.
Tiamat.
Thank you. Was Tiamat. The
Well,
goddess of chromatic dragons was Tiamat. I do not know why you are having so much trouble keeping track of the Pantheon.
now the rest of you guys seem to agree with Drazov, but at the same time, you also don't remember. So, I mean, for all you can tell, the throne of the god of magic has been filled by Vecna now. And I have to say, now that you guys have this realization that you are going against the god of secrets of magic and the mother of all chromatic dragons, you start to see how daunting is this task. I mean, you gotta stop the god of magic from redoing the multiverse and taking all the other gods.
Oh, yes. My memory is not as good as once was, but he's increasing his portfolio. That much I'm sure. As a god of magic, there is very little he cannot do.
Remind me, how is a small rod supposed to stop him then?
Well, you see, it's not the size of the rod, it's how you use it.
It's like when he first said that to me.
That is, the rod exists. The rod was created in a time where by a civilization and by creatures that they don't exist anymore, or at least no one knows where they are. The same creatures have created other sorts of artifacts across the multiverse that may still exist. Some of them do. And the rod can be used as a key to access a very ancient and powerful magic. Above things that... magic that was once used to shape worlds and fight betraying gods, to seal primordials away. There is a sort of magic that doesn't exist anymore. And the rod can be used as a key to that. Vecna knows that, and he knows that that is the only type of magic he can't anticipate, and that he can undo everything he has done.
So, humor me on this, Okar. We find all 7 pieces of the rod. If it's a key, where do we even go to unlock it?
Well, I'll tell you that when you have the 7 pieces.
So it's infinite. You already know where it's at.
Yes, we are leeching up a storm, but time is of the essence, so you gotta stop making your phylacteries fat and go ahead and stop getting things done. We need to find a way to get that 7 piece without Kaz realizing.
So you're heading to the mortuary?
Yep, I'm ready for my second trip.
Yeah.
Very well. Turns out the mortuary is not very far away from where you are. Here's where you are, and the mortuary is just a walk away. You can actually see the building from a distance. And once more, you look at the visage of the mortuary as you approach the building, and here's where you were, guys. Last time, you were walking in this. You were walking in this path here, in this pathway. The last time when Creek decided, hey, I'm just gonna summon a comet here from this, exposed pathway outside, and blew up all these buildings as well as all the buildings around here. So yeah, fun times. So the last time you guys entered with Windwalk, how do you want to enter this place?
I just thought of that with no mage.
Why don't we just knock up to the front door and be like, hey, we're out of our coffins. We need to get back. What if I just lied my way in?
Well,
I mean,
there are many doors in this place. None look like a proper front door, as this is more like a working place than.
Well, we are undead. We can just walk through the door like it's nothing.
You can certainly try. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah,
that a go.
I want to do the lying strat.
Very well. As you come to the door and you bang on the metal gate, you hear the echoes of your bangings on the metal gate in the hallways inside. A deathlock comes to the door, and the deathlock looks at you and says, "How can I help?"
Hey, I'm here to turn myself in. I managed to escape my coffin, but I realized how much I hate the outside. Can I just return back to my coffin? I'm sorry, I won't break out again.
You are not dead. You are a lich.
So, I was enjoying a nap earlier in here and I said to go for a stroll.
Sorry, only staff are allowed in this place.
Out of character, should I do the job route?
Should you do the what you say?
The job route, the employment route?
I mean, give it a go.
The staff, you say? Well, where's the application center?
There's no application. You must be recruited by Facto's Skull.
Oh my goodness, you know Facto's Skull.
Yes, everybody does. He's a very famous lich.
Is it true that he's getting ready to truly ascend to true death?
That is true. He's retiring.
And could you set up a meeting with us in Facto Skull?
Well, he's a very busy lich these days, with all the things he has to arrange before his retirement. I'm not his secretary. I cannot arrange this sort of things. I'm just the gatekeeper.
Do you know
Perhaps you could you could put us in touch with his secretary.
And, who are you?
I am s1e29 of the inedible.
s1e29. Never heard of
The
anyone.
inedible. Yes.
The inedible.
You've never heard of me. I'm quite famous. I assure you.
I have no idea who you are. But, and what about the rest of you?
That is your loss.
I am a traveling messenger. As Creek thinks of other liches that are powerful. I am the bard. I am the messenger of a Serac.
Of who?
A Serac.
Who is a Serac?
I guess you don't know many liches aside from Effective Skull.
Oh, you mean a Serac?
Look, I have a hard time pronouncing my boss's name.
Oh. Well, I guess it is a weird name. You are a messenger of a Serac. Are you all working for a Serac? I heard he has been destroyed.
No, not those two. And it's better that people think he's destroyed.
So, if you have been destroyed, you're bringing a message beyond the tomb?
Does Creek know anything about the tomb? Legend? I don't think I do.
About what? About the tomb?
I only really know about the name and like a Sararak.
Well, yeah, you would know the name of a famous lich, but after all, you are one. But yeah, you have no idea. You don't know much about a Sararak except that he builds dungeons. He spreads the word across the multiverse that the dungeons have treasures inside, so that it attracts adventurers. But the dungeons are full of traps, and they are actually just a way of bringing adventurers inside to their death, so that Sararak can take their souls after they die in his dungeons.
Thank you for that micro amount of information. I know what to do.
All right.
Oh, no, not to spread a message. Since it has been true that Facto Skull shall be having his true death, you know a Sararak is known for having treasures and everything he's built. I've come to see if Facto is willing to donate a part with one of his gifts so that it may be added to a Sararak's collection for more victims to fall prey to. It would be an honor to have a piece of such a famous lich before he leaves this place.
That's a very ambitious goal, but I guess I will relay the message. What else? What about the other two of you that weirdly enough wear the same armor?
Well, this here, and Cyril is pointing towards Pretty Cyril. He's going to say, this here is my twin. And unfortunately, as you can tell, he got all the looks. He's quite handsome, and that beard is to die for. And Pretty Cyril is going to point to Cyril and going to say, yes, this is also my twin, as you can see, much less handsome than I. And we are, and they say in unison, twins. And that's all they're going to say.
I'm sorry you were talking to me, but I could only pay attention to the other one. I must say, you are a formidable lich. I've been seeing liches my whole life, working with the dead and the undead, and I never seen such a well-preserved specimen.
Thank you very much.
How do you keep yourself so well-preserved? There's gotta be some sort of technique that we could leverage here.
Well, I mean, it's a bit of a secret, but I mean, I'm sure I could tell you the secret if you could help us out.
Really? Okay. I'll open the gate. Yeah, look, I can't really take you. I can't really help you with getting an audience with Factor Skull, but I can take you to his office. Hopefully he'll not be too pissed off. Would you tell me the secret then?
How about this? I'll tell you part of the secret now, and then I'll tell you the secret of the secret when you bring us to the office.
Excellent. Excellent.
And you guys start to realize that Pretty Cyril's charm is affecting this creature, apparently.
Freak is jealous.
and Pretty Cyril is gonna like give him a little like finger to like come over to him to get closer, and he's gonna say, "No, closer again. I don't want the rest of them hearing." And he's gonna whisper into the ear of the doorman. He's just gonna say, "So, part of my secret for such luscious complexion and fantastic beard coverage is once a month I dip my whole head in the dead body of a seagull, just in his blood though, and that is the start of my beauty routine. And I'll continue this as we walk, and we can walk and talk."
of the dead body of a seagull. I never thought seagulls had magical power. That is intriguing. Very well. I will take you along. Come with me. And he leads you through an external stairway. And he guides you through the external stairway leads up into the pathways that are external, into this suspended bridges that are external to them. And soon you find yourselves walking around the same extended bridges where in a different part of it, where you had your little encounter the last time. But this time you've been guided by a Herald of the Dust himself. So, and he seems to say, "This way." Pay no attention to the inside. It's the path of graves. You connect graveyards and graves all over the multiverse through those portals. And as he's passing by, you look to your left and you see this massive place full of stairways and portals that is being heavily guarded or protected by several heralds of the dust. On the top of these stairs, as you reach, as you look, as you're reaching the entrance and you look to your right, on top of these stairs you see you see a death tyrant looking over all the workers that have been working in this place. And yes, it's you can see that all the paths keep activating and deactivating, and the portals and the heralds of dust go in and then they come out, and it's almost like a hub of their operations as they are taking bodies and souls and other creatures to all sorts of places in the multiverse. And he says, "Well, please come with me. The office of Factor Skull is climbing these stairs." And let me bring you back to the map. Come on, I have to go back to the gatekeeping.
We're coming. As you can tell, this armor is quite heavy and does tend to slow us down quite a bit.
And the trace of your manifest mind is here. And it says, "All right. Now..."
Yeah, my familiar should also be here, but...
Okay, I'll just call it invisible for the time being.
Combat, not really.
Very well.
Yeah.
And he tells you, "So, this is the guard. It's his secretary. I can't pass from this point. I have to get back to the gate. So, if you want to go upstairs to talk to Factal, you're gonna have to pass to his guard. That's the bouncer. I brought you here. Now tell me the rest of the secret."
So the rest of the secret also involves a very, very rare potato only found in this very unique part of the world. It's just outside of Sigil, or sorry, it's just outside of Trade Gate. And you can find it.
Trade Gate.
Yes, Trade Gate, just outside Trade Gate. And you get this unique potato. I don't even believe it has a name yet. You get this unique potato and you boil it and mash it and put it in a stew. And then you throw out the stew. And then you put your head in the pot that you were making the stew in. and then you leave that on for one night, and you wake up the next day a new man with glorious skin and glorious hair.
I must be able to find this potato. It said it's outside Trade Gate. Could you give me a more specific description of it?
You leave the road of Trade Gate, and you go past a small bushel on your left. You continue that direction for approximately 125 steps. You take 2 lefts, go 106 steps back. You take 3 rights, you go 117 steps forward, and there you will find these potatoes.
It's a good thing I have eidetic memory, and I've memorized everything you just said. Well, I'm going to head to Trade Gate now. I need to get someone to cover my shift. I must discover. Your method of preservation is uncanny. Would you mind if I touch your face?
Okay.
And he just touches your skin, and then he starts to pull it out of the bone.
Wow. Look at this. The flexibility. If I try to do that on my face, I'll rip off the skin. This is amazing. Do you use some collagen as well?
It's all in the potato. It's a mighty thing.
Wow. This must be some amazing potato and seagull blood. I'm gonna get the ingredients. Hopefully, by the time you're coming out, I'll be back. What is your name, oh amazing one?
My name is Lyrical.
Lyrical.
Yeah.
Very interesting name. I would expect that to be the name of the bard.
I don't make the rules. And he's
of course.
Lift his hands up like, who knows?
Thank you, Lyrical. I have to get back to my post. I wish you all very farewell. I gotta go find that seagull.
And as soon as he's out of earshot, Cyril is going to look at original Cyril and say, what a load of shit. As we eat up towards the guard.
And as you reach the guard, he turns to you and says,
All right, dear. What?
We're here to ask for a meeting with damn, his name's escaped my mind.
You don't know you're looking to see it.
No, that's above table, sorry. Creek.
You hear where messengers are here. Facto skull.
Oh my god. Thank you so much, guys.
You hear Creek say that in the back and when he plays his guitar.
So you want to see Facto skull?
We do.
I'm sorry before I allow you to. You must explain to me how can you be so well preserved?
Oh my god.
Pretty Cyril's just gonna say, I bought this really nice oil from someone in Tradegate about 100 years ago, and I'm afraid I can't remember the name of it.
Is that still there? Because, you know, I'm a bit self-conscious about the appearance of my hands. It's like using things. But, you know, inside here, my constitution is very much like one of you liches. But every time I take a helmet off, people just freak out because I look like the half-a-dozen worms are just swarming around. my glowing fiery eyes, and a lot of people just, they just assume I'm evil just because I take the helmet off. I don't like people to think I'm evil just because I look ugly. I like them to think I'm evil for other merits. And I just feel like I'm not being really valued.
I'll stop you right there. And Pretty Cyril's going to pick up his hands and he's going to say, I'm not sure if the merchant is still there, but I do have some of this oil left. And he's going to hand over, where's it gone? Oh, does he not have it? Yes, he's going to hand over some Kraken oil that he has that he's going to pretend is the oil that he's on about. And he's going to say, now, you rub this into your skin only on the 13th month of the 13th moon of every year when it's at peak height in a barrel. And I'm giving you this because I need you to guarantee a meeting for us with Facto Skull.
Wow. Facto is busy right now, but he knows that would only let those who are deserving as deserve his focus. I must say, thank you so much. So, repeat again, it's the 13th moon of
13th moon of every year at the highest point that the moon is in the sky, and you need to be in a barrel.
Okay, I need to just wrap this around my skin.
Just the smallest amount. I mean, this whole barrel has lasted me hundreds of years, and as you can see, it looks like it's brand new.
Wow. If I may ask, why haven't the rest of you done this?
Because life is tough, and us pretty people like to keep some uglier people around so that we look prettier.
Look.
Those pretensions on appearances. The appearances are for these small-minded and simple.
Look, I just spread the tale of the legendary lyrical here. I just get paid to sing him songs.
Yeah. I mean, it's like every good boy band. You have the smart one, the one who can sing, you have the pretty one, and then you have the crazy time wizard.
What is a boy? Anyway, I think I'm getting sidetracked. Thank you so much for this. I gotta say, I've never felt. I think I don't even have a heart anymore. I never felt so positive about someone like I feel about you. What is your name?
My name is Lyric.
Well, Lyric is absolutely a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for it all. Oh, I can't wait until you're not playing this helmet anymore. I can show my face to other people. The 13 counting for life.
And I hope it works for you, my friend. Is it just up these stairs here?
Yes, 13 counting for life.
So I last applied it, and Cyril is going to pull out his clockwork amulet, and he's going to say, I last applied it about 7 moon cycles ago, so in about 6 more moon cycles you should be good to go.
6 more moon cycles? Oh, I can't wait. All the other death knights here are so jealous of me when I don't have to wear my helmet. And I can just look at me in the eye after I stepped in, and you just feel good about my looks. Yeah.
It is powerful too.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And he steps aside and lets you pass through.
Amazing.
And
Some amount of shaffage.
And let me describe to you guys what you see as you arrive upstairs. A glowing ethereal sphere hover over this chilling sanctum, whose walkways are formed from the vertebrae of some unknown behemoth. The orb resonates with the haunting cries of the dead. The cryptic figure in tattered robes float above the walkway, examining ghostly threads that spun from the skeleton loom. And you can see him right there as he seems to be dealing with, and you can see a sort of the ethereal veil with the faces of the dead as it's as Factor Skulls floating around and trying to examine the threads of death. You can see the faces of the dead in the sphere in the center, in that sphere of energy, and it seems Factor Skull is it's busy at work, preparing for something. You have no idea what this orrery is, but it seems that you finally arrived. And as you see that Lich floating up in the air, you've noticed that Factor Skull barely has any body left. He has hands. He has an exoskeleton that keeps his body straight. He has a mantle and a floating head in his skull, and he's just flying around. He hasn't. The noise here is so loud. The noise of the crackling lightning and thunder, that he hasn't yet noticed you guys. So let me ask, what do you want to do?
What do we think our best angle is to ask him regarding the rod guys?
I don't know. You've already sweet talked 2 people. Let's see you go round 3.
Yeah, I mean, above the table, I'm thinking that Pretty Cyril is probably our best chance at doing the sweet talking.
We'll send in the pretty boy, then we'll send in the bard.
I think we send in the bard first, and then the pretty boy if the bard doesn't work.
Oh, you really want to trust me with that? I got this.
Oh God, do we want to trust you with this? Send in a photo of your inventory there, real quick, just so I can have a quick peruse that there's no more scrolls in there.
I'll just put it on hidden. Kidding.
Oh God.
I know we all approach together as one.
Yes, that's probably the best. I still want that photo of your inventory. I do not want another comment going off here.
Legend, can I summon the scroll here? I'm kidding.
So, you see Facto flying around near and examining the sphere as he's and suddenly he comes towards you guys and he notices you, and he seems a bit curious, and he's looking at all of you with some curiosity, and he says,
Who are you? Oh, Liches visiting? I told my gods they didn't want it to be interrupted. What do I owe the pleasure of this visit? And who are you?
So, we are the left-handed horrors, says Cyril. We are a group of liches. who
So,
are-
so wait, because Creek and Original Zero recognize the name of the group as 9 o'clock Liches.
Oh, yes.
Original
Okay,
Zero
so-
and Creek are from the 9 o'clock Liches, while Zero and Drazov. So yeah, for those of you who are who are the 9 o'clock Liches? Isn't it a def? Oh yes. Let's just go back here for a second. And yes, that was we started this campaign. First 12 episodes of this campaign, we're telling the story from the angle of the 9 o'clock Liches, which is the party that had the 6th member as Necrolumpa, the one we've mentioned here today. And then from the offhand backhand wish that Vecna did on episode 12, we started to tell the story, although it was unknowing to our players, that from the angle of the left-hand horrors, which were the same 6 members, alternative versions of them, but where the 6th member is Drazov in that party. And then after the wish, the timelines merge, and now there is duplicates of each one. Although Creek managed to use a wish to merge with his duplicate. One of the duplicates of Midge, you guys came to learn, has been defeated by a simulacrum sent by Vecna, a simulacrum of Necrolumpa. Oh yes, both Necrolumpa and Drazov are alternative versions, are apprentices of Vecna. And so yeah, each one of them has an evil twin. And then we have the other Vokar that was sent into a maze and destroyed as well. So these are more or less the cast we have, the main cast we have now. And as you can see, we have the original Cyril and the ugly Cyril, or we're calling it the pretty and the less pretty, however you wanna refer to them. And they have 5 pieces of the rod. Oh yes, and I should make a quick correction here, because there is a 6th piece of the rod that is now on the table, and that 6th piece of the rod is at the hands of Necrolumpa over there. And now you guys have 6 pieces, and Kaz has the 1 piece of the rod left, the first one, the tip, and with that, let me resume back to your encounter with that little parenthesis, to your encounter with Facto Skull in his Orrery of Souls.
So Cyril is going to say, so we are from the left-handed horrors, and then original Cyril is going to say, and the 9 o'clock liches.
Apologize for my ignorance, but I have never heard of 9 o'clock liches or left-hand horrors. Is that stand for something? Should this be an acknowledged brand across the multiverse? I mean,
We're a bit of
important work here to do, so I would appreciate if you guys keep it brief. My time is of the essence.
Keep it brief, okay. Right. I won't go into the details of our individual groups, because it's a bit of a long story, and it's been a couple of episodes. Basically, we are here in hope that you will help us
I will help you. Do what? I'll help you do what?
0.
Did we lose Zero? Zero, if you're there, we can't hear you.
I think he's enamored by his own beauty.
Oh, did he get mazed? Zero, if you're there.
We can't hear you. Has your battery gone away? Oh, he was just too pretty for this world.
Hello?
Yes,
Oh,
there you go.
There you are.
Sorry. Sorry. I was moving around and accidentally unplugged the back of my headphones. We're looking for help. Looking for a certain piece of a rod that may be in your possession. It's for the betterment of the whole multiverse, all the timelines and everything, and we understand that maybe not of any interest to you, but it'd greatly help us and greatly help the multiverse, and it will help bring down some pretty evil people.
He is an adept of the evening glory, looking for a piece of the rod.
Well,
And as I say, as he says that, the other three of you, Craig, Drazov, and Cyril, you realize, oh, evening glory. Isn't that the vestige you found in the death house? When they were, when they sacrificed a woman to bring back Count Strad von Zarovich? Is that why Cyril looks like that? And Cyril, you are particularly impressed with the knowledge of this Lich. I mean, he must know a lot of things. This Lich has been. Now, this is an old and wise Lich, very knowledgeable Lich, yeah, although he's now a Lich on borrowed time, but he seems to already have assessed you, and he says,
So why do you want a piece of the rod?
can I ask above table to the other two? Do we think we just tell him straight out about our mission to defeat Vecna?
Do you want me to do that, or do you want me to do that? Do you want me to appeal to him and persuade him?
I'm just trying to think.
I've rolled his saves, and he's the only creature you encounter so far in this place that hasn't been affected by our aura.
Damn.
He seems to be unaffected by you. And let me put his altitude here. He's about 15 feet up.
This is the uke job, so Creek.
Alright, it's time
Get that
for
charisma
bringing
going.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Creek.
Above the table, I'm on board. I think Creek is probably our best option.
Send in the big guns.
Creek, looking at Cyril as say, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, about that evening glory. And I'll go over here and says, well, back to Skull. For formalities, pleasure to meet you. I am the Spirit King or Creek. I, play legendary songs. You may not know me, but why we're here for the piece of rod, you may ask?
You are correct, Cadet. I have no idea who you are.
That's completely fine. We require that rod as we want to destroy the Whispered One. And we have most of the pieces of the rod, and there's only one more we require. But in order to acquire it, a trade is needed. And since...
Wait, what is the point of you getting a piece of the rod and then giving away a piece of the rod? You won't be able to complete the rod. So your story is not really connecting there.
Lack to that, the connecting point is, I've been informed that there are two timelines that have been merged into one. As you see behind me, two versions of the same person, but to different pathways. One with the evening glory, one without. And there are two separate rods The piece you have is not.
Two timelines that marched on each other. Of course. Of course. And
Uh-oh.
And he flies back into and looks at the orrery, and he starts to look at the whisks, and he's using his staff to manipulate things, and he's pulling the threads of the souls or of the death in the orrery, and he says,
of course, I hadn't considered this. That explains these anomalies. Of course. That's why there are 2 of you, and 3 of those, and 2 of those ones. I can send you to the outer planes. That's why the outer planes will send you back. As they already received you as a petitioner. All you poor souls. Oh no.
I'm gonna like walk up a bit.
Our pipeline of souls and petitioners to the outer planes, to the truthful next step, corrupted by timeline axis. 2 streams merged into one that explains all the anomalies I've been observing. I must have spent the past couple of weeks trying to understand what is happening. How are these anomalies possible? And how come you here, by coincidence, and tells me the only theory that makes sense, and I hadn't considered, I hadn't seen something like this happen in my whole existence. I have observed timeline split, the merge, 2 timeline streams merge into one. What kind of foul cause led to this? Do you know? Tell me more.
I will tell you more, but I will want your cooperation as well, because like I said, this affects the entire multiverse. That is why we're looking for these pieces of the rod, to stop the Whispered One.
I am very well aware of the consequences of I've been observing in my orrery all the consequences to the souls of those I should send to the outer planes. I thought I had lost my power. I thought I was getting crazy. I thought I had screwed up, and there was something wrong with my orrery that was beyond me to comprehend. I decided to retire as I deemed myself incompetent to deal with this problem. Yes, I'm very aware of the consequences of what you are telling me here. The far-reaching effects across the multiverse. If souls are not flying into the outer planes, if there are no petitioners to the gods are weakened. And with the gods weakened, someone can come and, well, take them down. This might have been. What do you know about this merging of the timelines? Tell me, what is your name, you said again?
I am Creek, or as my stage name, the Spirit King. Pleasure to meet you, Facto Skull. And then this is Drazolf, Cyril, and then I point at the handsome guy.
Drazolf, Cyril, and handsome guy. Very well.
No, lyrical, sorry. Lyrical. The handsome guy is named Lyrical.
Lyric.
Or Lyric. Lyric.
Okay. Lyric. I see. So one zero and the other zero backwards. Tell me, Freak. Tell me everything you know. I might be able to help, but only if you share the knowledge you have with me.
Of course, and I have something on the side you may not know, and I bring out my lyre. I like also collecting the signatures of famous people, and I show him Tasha, and I show him Shrod, and I show him the other version of me, and I tell him, I think this was the other timeline, but I'm not sure. I don't know. He disappeared, but I signed it, and I would love yours too, Facto Skull, as well as you helping us when we tell you more. Can I roll a persuasion on that?
Sign the instrument.
Ooh, Creek gets all happy when he sees the signature. All right.
Oh, he didn't sign it. He said it's okay to sign.
Okay. Well, originally there was only one rod, and halfway between, it seems. Legend, out of character. This is not Creek speaking. How much knowledge of this do I actually know, or is it Cyril that knows the most of this? Just want to make sure.
How much knowledge about?
About like the timelines, the wish of Vecna, and all this. Like, I know I heard some parts, but I just want to make sure because I know Cyril was.
You don't know. You don't know about the wish of Vecna that merged the two timelines necessarily. The only one who knows is Drazov. Well, he hasn't been very clear on that explanation to you guys so far. What you know in character is the theory of Cyril. And the theory of Cyril is that the theory of Cyril is that two streams of time have merged into each other, just like two rivers that confluence into one. And you have been finding that there are copies of yourselves that have been appearing from alternate timelines. So the theory that Cyril, the more you guys progress, the more the theory of Cyril is making sense. You've seen two Kaz, you've seen two midges, you've seen two Cyrils, two Necrolumpas, two Drazovs, two Creeks, two Volkars. So the theory is making sense, and now it seems that Facto Skull has been observing the consequences of this in his Orrery of Souls. And for what he told you, and well, you understand somewhat of how this works. When characters die in D&D, they don't actually die. Their souls go somewhere, usually to the outer plane of their beliefs. So, or to the outer plane to which their souls are promised because of their actions. Well, if you believe in Latender and you die, your soul goes to Latender's place, and there you start. And and the outer plane is just like a material plane in terms of for all mechanical purposes. Your soul goes there, and you start as a petitioner, living your life in your chosen eternity haven option. So if you are a beast, you may go to the beast lands. If you are a Modron, you may go to Mechanus, and so on and so forth. If you are Cyril, you may go to Mechanus as well. Anyway, so the point is, your soul goes there as a petitioner, and because you are a petitioner in the dominion of a god, all your beliefs and your prayers and everything you do feeds into the power of that god. Now, if Facto Skull cannot send, and probably if the gods of death that are just like Facto Skull have to take a soul of those who decease and transport there to their next step in their existence, if they are not allowed to do that, the gods that rely on the divine essence and the powers that comes from those souls would be unable to perform, to maintain their activities. So it stops the natural flow of life in unlife and death. And with that stopping, it debilitates the gods. Now, you can put two and two together in your mind, Greek, and understand why Vecna would be wanting to debilitate the gods. Just earlier, you were having a conversation about with Drazov, where Drazov is saying that Vecna is not the god of magic. Vecna is not the god, the mother of dragons. And you are finding that conversation particularly strange because your gut feeling tells you that Drazov is right, but your memory tells you that Drazov is wrong. And there is something about what he says that particularly intriguing, thinking that there was another god, there was the mother of dragons, but well, there can only be one mother of dragons. You just birthed the dragons once. So how is all of that possible when you start to, form your own theory about what could be happening? Perhaps the merge of the two timelines is a very ingenious way to debilitate the gods, to screw up all the cycle of life and death in the multiverse, so that the gods can no longer feed out of it, for lack of a better expression. And if they can no longer feed out of it, they are vulnerable to Vecna's rituals and Vecna's wishes of trying to rewrite the multiverse, and which means all of this is somewhat connected, Creek, to what is happening, and that's what your character knows.
All right, and I'll give a rough version of that regarding with the two timelines over the fact of Skull and how we've been seeing duplicates of ourselves and many people we've encountered along the way. Now that's what I've been seeing in theory, and some of my memories when people mention one thing, I think it's this, but my instinct tells me that I'm getting two conflicting sources, and then I look over to Drazov and I point and it says, "Hey Drazov, come over here. You were the one telling me more about this. I think Factal Skull would like to hear more about this." And I'll move to the side after giving the explanation.
Yes. Not sure about all of that. Some of that sounds a bit unhinged, but for the rest of it, yes, I broadly concur.
You broadly concur with what?
With what Greek was saying, the whole thing about about Hibble. That was a lot of info. My concurring too.
All right. So, long story short,
Sorry.
what you guys know is the theory that there are two timelines and that they merge into each other. That's how much Cyril could figure out, as this is a chronology wizard. You, Drazov, you remember of gods being different gods, different names, and it's not the first time you argue with the party about this. When you first heard about the Mother of Dragons, you also said the Mother of Dragons, Tiamat. What are you guys talking about? Everybody was remembering that the Mother of Dragons was Vecna. You and Midge could remember of Tiamat. The others couldn't. It seems that what Creek is trying to explain to Factor Skull is that there are two timelines, and you remember gods being different gods and not Vecna. In fact, Skull was explaining to all of you that what he's been observing here is that, which a Lich would understand this domain of knowledge very well, is that the cycle of life and death across the multiverse, if souls are not being fed to the gods or to the positive planes or negative planes, then let me put it this way, in a metaphor, if the river is not flowing down, if the river is not flowing downstream, all the plantations will die during the drought. So that's pretty much what he's saying here, that the river is not flowing downstream, and right now the gods are vulnerable. All the plantations, all the crops are vulnerable to for lack of their resources. So this is more or less what he's explaining here. And your little piece of the puzzle is that you could remember that Vecna was not the god of magic, and you can remember that Vecna was not the mother of dragons.
Yes. You see, there seems to be some confusion among my colleagues, because Vecna was never the mother of dragons. Was never the above the table. What was the other one?
God of magic.
Sorry.
God of magic.
And was never the god of magic. This is clearly the result of Vecna's manipulation of the multiverse. And,
So you were.
your assistance in what was that? What was that?
You cut off. You cut off. You cut off. Your assistance was the last thing I heard.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, your assistance in dealing with these matters would be greatly appreciated by not only ourselves but also by the Lady of Pain, who I would like to point out has recently seen fit to free us from her labyrinth. Yes, I know it is hard to believe, but this is a thing that has happened. And I feel like that I should get to like roll some persuasion to like.
You don't have to. You don't have
extra
to. You don't have to roll persuasion because he believes you.
Okay.
That explains a lot. In the past, Vecna has tried to take over my spirit sucked behind my back, to use the power to turn himself into a god. And now, you come here to tell me that I had the same impression myself. That there was a funny impression that Vecna was not the god of magic. I remember the events, and they don't seem to connect to each other. I remember him coming here to steal the spirits of trying to become a god of death, a god of secrets, and now he's sitting in the throne of god of magic. This seems far too disconnected from his original ambitions. I never quite connected the dots there. Why would he go for the seat of magic? And then Mother of Dragons. Also, I don't remember saying that Vecna was the Mother of Dragons when he came here the first time and invaded a mortuary. He was just an arch-lich, a very ambitious one, very talented one, but still an arch-lich. And now, with you telling me this, things are starting to make sense. What I've been observing with the flow of life and death and its disruption in my orrery of souls, which probably has been observed across the multiverse by other beings that are in charge of taking the souls to their rightful place, is that the flux has stopped. The flow of souls to the rightful place has stopped. And that is because there's a lot of confusion happening. There are duplicate souls. There is overlapping. And overlapping realities, and that makes so much sense, though. There's gotta be a way to fix this. There's gotta be a way to undo this. Is that what your group, the liches and left-hand horrors, is looking to accomplish? Is that why you want a piece of the rod?
Yes.
Yes, that is.
Yes, indeed.
You do realize the repercussions of what you are asking me.
Yes. Yes, I do understand the repercussion.
Yes. But we're running out of time, and there's so little options left. It's what we have to do. Why are you doing deception, Jeza? I don't know. I'm going with you.
Oh, that was a deception roll on me understanding the repercussions of the consequences.
Oh, then I totally agree with you.
Because I'm not entirely sure that I do, but I'm rolling that as deception because, yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna lucky mine, just in case. I want to go higher than 28. I'm staying at
I
28.
feel like at a 28 here, you probably understand. Oh, wow. Just 28 both times around.
If you understand the consequences, I don't know who brought you here, but by the time you return to the mortuary, I might not be the leader of this faction anymore. I will give you the piece of the rod, but you have to promise 2 things to me. And believe me, I know all the tricks that all the liches pull off. I'm a very old lich, and you don't want to fuck with this lich. Do you understand?
I understand.
And you'll
Very
also
well.
sign my liar too, right?
Yeah, Vecna is a baby compared to the threat that I am towards you and your existence. I can snap your phylacteries from the other side of the multiverse, and can destroy you in a blink of an eye. So I want to make sure you understand that this is not just a threat to your existence, but is something that if you do, it will piss me off and will have repercussions across the entire multiverse and across the work that I worked so hard to maintain. The balance between life and death. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I do, and I agree to the terms.
The first condition is, whatever you do, you are not going to create any repercussions to the flow of life and death in the multiverse. The flow must continue and it must be preserved as sacred at all costs, as the entire existence relies on this, particularly right now. I'm having trouble sending those who pass away in signal to the outer planes that they rightfully should go to. So, do you agree to preserve the balance between life and death at all costs?
We agree to this.
I agree to be a balance of life and death.
Very well. And the second one is that once you are done with whatever it is that you do, you will return the piece of the rod to the mortuary, even if I'm not the one in here by then.
We can do that too.
That specific piece of the rod, correct?
Correct.
That we can do.
Yeah. Sure. Yes. I guess I disagree.
Wait, I have a question about that. How do you want us to return that? Do you want us to give us a new person acting here, or is there a special way?
Well, there are several contenders to take my job since I announced my retirement. I have people within the faction, people that came from all across the multiverse to apply for this position. The decision ultimately will be on the Lady of Pain, as I trust her wisdom, and I won't challenge her decision. So I don't know how long it will take for her to make a decision. But by the time you get how long you're going to take in your mission, so by the time you return, I might not be the one here.
Okay, I will make sure to return it to whoever is the acting one in charge of the mortuary.
And as he says that, his hand, disembodied from the rest of his body, just floating through the air, comes in front of you guys and snaps a finger, and a skeleton finger, and the piece of the rod appears in the palm of that hand. And who among you don't have another piece of the rod?
Pretty Cyril.
Pretty Cyril. So is Pretty Cyril taking this piece of the rod?
Pretty Cyril will take this piece of the rod.
Very well. So let's update our little map here. And Pretty Cyril, this is the piece of the rod that you get.
Nice. Is that 1 or 7?
That's 7, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's either 1 or 7. One of them. Quite frankly, I already forgot what direction they count this. But wait,
so
I'll tell you in a
that is
second.
one.
Is that's 1. That's 1. That's the first piece.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So Cyril, you now have one of the pieces of the rod, and the other one, the lead that you guys have, leads you to Avernus, and with that, Factos calls, bids you farewell and best of luck in your mission. Remember, liches, don't try to backstab a very old lich. You will regret it. I'm trusting you and your undying wisdom to take care of the balance between life and death. Regardless of your personal motivations, you must preserve this, and you must bring this piece of the rod back once you're done. Understood?
I do.
Understood.
And I take out my lyre and I go up to him and it says, before you head out, Facto's skull, can you just sign like right here underneath Strahd, please?
I would never sign underneath Strahd.
You can sign above him then.
Absolutely. And he signs, he signs Facto's skull, and the font is glowing green, just like the souls you see in the orrery in front of you. And he returns to his doings, and he bids you all farewell. And with that, for those of you who've been watching us, thank you for watching as we conclude this session here. If you're liking our campaigns or live play campaigns, there's much more content coming to this channel in the future, so please subscribe. It's a pleasure having you guys with us, and see you guys next week. Oh, and tomorrow there is more campaign. Tomorrow we have Gods versus Eldritch Horrors. Tomorrow same time. See you guys then. Have a good week, everybody.